The Honorable and Noble Sangheili, or better known as Elites, are the pinnacle of enemy combatants in the Halo franchise. Fast, agile, and cunning, these deadly warriors have been subjected to rigorous changes throughout the series in regards to their anatomy, armor, and AI. Some changes were positive, while others were questionable to say the least. So with that in mind, let's take a deep dive into and dissect the evolution of the Elites. But before we begin, if you enjoy the video and want to see more Covenant evolutions, please subscribe and turn on notifications to be updated when I drop new videos. And let me know in the comments below what your favorite Elite is, and what Covenant species you'd like me to cover next. With Halo Combat Evolved introducing the Covenant for the first time, the Elites in particular stood out as dangerous, skilled fighters. Towering over the less honorable races, the Elites are vaguely reptilian in overall appearance, with scaly skin and reverse-jointed legs. Their most notable attribute, however, is their jaw design, which is made up of 4 separate mandibles layered with sharp teeth. The armor worn by the Elites in CE has a few differences from the armor seen in later games. The armor has a chrome shine with orange glowing sections on their arms and legs, a curled back headpiece in addition to the standard spiky helmet, and unique thigh armors and smaller shoulder pieces, with the higher ranks sporting a special 3-point design. Another small detail, their eye color is the same as their armor color. For example, a minor with blue armor will have blue eyes, while a major with red armor will have red eyes. While on the subject of ranks and colors, the Elites maintain the Covenant tradition of different ranks consisting of certain colors. Minor Elites have blue armor, Majors red. Stealth Elites use a light blue color scheme. Spec Ops Elites are clad in jet black with blue glowing sections on their armor instead of the usual orange. The highest rank seen in the game, Zealots, equipped a vibrant gold combat harness with blue lights and adorned with Forerunner symbols similar to their Spec Ops brothers. The ultimate goal when it came to designing the AI for the Elites was to essentially make them the player's equal. They'll duck and weave to dodge your shots, jump out of the way when you throw a grenade, retreat and hide when their shields are down, or charge the player if your health is low. But what unique gameplay abilities do the Combat Evolved Elites possess? Well, depending on the rank of Elite, several different skills or detriments appear. When minors are injured or lose their shields, they will go berserk, yelling a war cry and attempting to melee the player to death. Majors are equipped with approximately 50% stronger shields than minors, are less likely to perform tactical errors, are more maneuverable, seek cover frequently, and fire their weapons with a greater accuracy and faster rate. Stealth Elites have no shields and instead rely on their active camouflage and stealthy quickness to ambush the player. They will often attack in pairs, relying on surprise and numbers. Spec Ops Elites are the second toughest Elite in the game, with stronger shields than Majors and incredible accuracy and firing patterns. What makes them unique, however, is the fact that they're the only Elites that throw plasma grenades. They will do this often to flush out the player and are surprisingly accurate with their throws. And finally, we have the most dangerous and highest ranked Elite in the game, the Zealot. They have the strongest shields, are more agile than regular Elites, and are constantly weaving between cover to avoid incoming fire. Primarily wielding energy swords and on occasion plasma rifles, these monsters are extremely dangerous in close quarters. They are faster than the player and tend to hunt their victims relentlessly. The plasma rifle wielding ones have the best accuracy and will shoot for longer periods, to the point of overheating their gun. A side note, however, is they are unable to perform melee attacks. They were programmed to go berserk when they see the player, and have no ability for melee attacking while in a berserk mode. What made the Combat Evolved Elite such a successful enemy and fun to fight comes down to their AI and combat reactions. They were tough, because they made intelligent decisions in their actions with good aim, aggressive firing patterns, and were good at avoiding damage. They took cover to let their shields recharge and almost always kept their distance. The drawback to the Elites, however, is their somewhat detrimental berserking reactions. When their shield is depleted, instead of immediately seeking cover, they will stop and emit an angered roar, which leaves them open to an easy headshot. Furthermore, they sometimes charge at you when they have no shields, which just makes them easier to kill. But overall, these are minor drawbacks. Overall, the Combat Evolved Elites are definitely a standout enemy and a fantastic starting point in the series. They are forceful, incredibly intelligent, and a deadly foe to be reckoned with, especially on higher difficulties. They're my favorite elite to fight and arguably the best elite in the series.
When we joined the Covenant, we took an oath.
According to our station, all without exception.
On the blood of our fathers, on the blood of our sons, we swore to uphold the Covenant.
Even to our dying breath, we shall grind them into dust.
And continue our march to glorious salvation.
The Elites return once again as the primary officer enemy in Halo 2, receiving a graphical upgrade as well as several new ranks and AI behaviors. First, let's go over all the visual changes the Elites received in Halo 2. All standard Elites are equipped with the spiked helmet seen in Combat Evolved, with the curled headpieces not making a return. The Forerunner symbols on their armor is gone, their shoulder pieces are larger than in the previous game, and the glowing orange sections on their armor act now as shield indicators, glowing brightly when the shield is fully charged, and dimming or going out altogether depending on shield level. The eye color is not the same as the armor color. Instead, the entirety of the eye is black, possibly indicating a heads-up display lens. Their posture is much more hunched over compared to CE, most likely because of the implementation of playable elites in multiplayer, and making sure the hitboxes line up with the Spartan models. All the ranks in Combat Evolved make a return, but many have been visually altered or changed entirely, with several new ranks first appearing in Halo 2. Minor and major elites now feature a lighter variation of the blue and red color scheme instead of the deeper colors of the past. Heretic elites are equipped with a more ornate golden beige armor that differs in design from normal Covenant forces. They do not wear helmets, but instead are equipped with respirators and goggles to help them survive the hydrogen-helium atmosphere of Threshold. Their harness also has 4 distinctive fins on the back. Stealth elites now have a gray-colored armor rather than light blue, and also have a minor and major ranking system. They can also be detected by the motion tracker when invisible. Additionally, they sport energy shields, which were absent from Combat Evolved. The Ranger rank is introduced in Halo 2, with these elites being experts in space and aerial combat, and are equipped with a unique bluish-green sealed combat harness. They are often seen dual-wielding plasma rifles. The Spec Ops elites are brought back, but wear purple-colored armor instead of the jet black of CE. A brand new rank, the Ultras, are clad in pearly white armor. Equipped with overshields, they are the toughest elite infantry in the game. They also have the unique ability to become enraged if the player gets too close, and will drop their current weapon, emit a battle cry, and pull out an energy sword. Zealots make a return, but are now only encountered on legendary difficulty, rather than all difficulties. They no longer possess overshields and are armed exclusively with energy swords. Honor Guard elites are among the most skilled of all elite warriors, and were handpicked for the duty of protecting the High Prophets. They wear highly ornate armor, colored in a combination of glowing red and orange. It features large horns on the helmet and jutting spikes on the body and shoulder pauldrons. They have an alternate rank known as the Lights of St. Helios, sporting the same armor as the regular Honor Guardsmen, with the exception being that the base armor they wear is a distinctive bright white instead of a crimson red. And finally, we have the highest ranked elite in the game, the Elite Counselor. These warriors are part of the Covenant High Council and are extremely dangerous. Equipped with a large helmet and silver combat armor, they also use an overshield and do not falter when hit with a melee attack. The Halo 2 elites feature a slew of new gameplay abilities and features, so here's a list of them all in a lightning round format. Instead of having different shielding strengths for different elite classes, the majority of elite classes now have the same level of shield strength. Elite Majors, Spec Ops elites, Honor Guard elites, and Zealots all possessed identical levels of shielding. The exceptions are Stealth elites, Elite Miners, Ranger elites, Elite Ultras, and Counselor elites. They can now speak English and have some incredible and memorable lines.
You have some brains. On your mandible.
Well, Arbiter, I think you're cute. too. They have shed our brother's blood, and for that they must die.
Their melee attacks do more damage and can kill you in one hit on normal difficulty or above. They gained an animation to appear startled upon seeing Master Chief. Mandibles and facial features are more defined and have animations. They now have an animation when they take cover behind walls and objects. Gain the ability to hijack vehicles. Elites now can be seen dual-wielding weapons. Elites gain an animation for when they pull out an energy sword that makes them roar. They have a couple unique animations when using the sword. They also can perform a deadly behind-the-back swipe. So what worked with Halo 2's elites? Halo 2's elites are still skilled fighters continuing the trend from CE, and will sometimes outsmart and maneuver you or even pursue you if you retreat. However, they are not as fast as CE elites and are sometimes slow to react. They tend to stand still in the open and shoot at you even when their shields are low instead of seeking cover. Energy sword wielding elites are now a joke and are some of the easiest elites to fight due to them simply charging the player without using cover effectively. Overall, Halo 2 has some of the best elites in the franchise. They have a great visual design, have many amazing armors, are fun to fight, and overall a blast to play against. They're my favorite elites in the series.
Brute ships, staggered line. Shipmaster, they outnumber us 3-1.
Then it is an even fight.
All cruisers fire at will. Burn their mongrel hides.
Even though the Brutes were promoted to be the principal Covenant foe in Halo 3, that didn't stop the elites from making a notable appearance. They once again received an upgraded look to account for the new game engine, but this is when the elites start to differ in appearance compared to the classic design. The Halo 3 elites now feature a much more bulky look, with a thick neck and darker skin, which has a somewhat shiny, scaly texture to it. Their eye color is now orange, making the pupils noticeable, and their hunched posture is even more exaggerated than in previous titles, making them the shortest elites in the franchise. Their armor is now more detailed and designed with many seams and sharper angles, creating a more technologically advanced, alien look. The shoulder pauldrons are much thicker and appear overlapped. The combat helmet has shorter side fins and more spikes added to the back. The fins on the gauntlets have also been removed, as well as the orange crystal lights on the arms and legs. Their leg armor flares out at the bottom instead of being tight, revealing the heel of the elite's foot. All elite armor has Forerunner glyphs, as well as multiple marks of shame adorning the body and shoulders, a monument to their leader, the Arbiter. In regards to ranks, the minor and major's armors also exhibit varied blue color shades with light blue and dark blue, and lighter and darker reds. Spec Ops elites can now be seen wearing a brand new armor, the Assault Harness, with a completely sealed helmet, orange goggled lenses, and only 2 angular mandible guards. Ranger, Ultra, Zealot, Honor Guard, Counselor, and Stealth ranks are never encountered during gameplay, although several corpses of dead Ultras can be seen in Floodgate and Cortana. It seems like the elites in Halo 3 have seen a huge increase in their AI recklessness and less with preservation. Instead of firing from cover or flanking, they now overwhelmingly charge straight at the enemy while firing, engaging in melee combat once they get close enough. This occurs regardless of the elite's current weapon, the weaponry of the enemy, or even the type of enemy. This also results in a high chance on team killing among them. Speaking of team killing, Spec Ops elites in particular toss plasma grenades with reckless abandon, and many a times the player will be killed by their own elites. Another small detail, when an infection form infects any alive elite, the elite will emit an energy shield shockwave, which makes a sound like a gravity hammer swing before submitting to the flood. Overall, the elites of Halo 3 are just plain goofy in my opinion. They've lost that sleek, quick, and intimidating look. With being more hunched over and bulky, it just makes them look like goblins or the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Definitely my least favorite elites in the Bungie games.
And I'll release you.
Understand, it's over!
We've been engaged! Bad guy coming out!
With Bungie's approach to make the Covenant and Reach feel alien and scary again, it can be said that the Elites received the most attention. Appearing more animalistic, the Reach Elites are by far the most intimidating iteration we've seen in the series. Their stature is no longer hunched over, instead standing straighter, taller, and more imposing than their previous cousins. Their eyes are back to being a solid black with no pupils and have been moved from the sides of their head to the front. Their mandibles seem to be sharper and longer and are filled with more teeth. Their feet are no longer hoof-like as in previous games. Their toes have been animated to move and squish with every step. Reach Elites now follow a different mantra when it comes to armor and ranks. Now, every rank has a different and unique armor configuration, allowing the player to easily determine ranks at a glance, especially with the higher ranks with their decorative head crests. The Miner's armor looks similar in appearance to previous games, with it being simple, shinier, and curved. They wear a smaller helmet with no mandible guards, creating a more combat-oriented look. A subclass of the major rank, Officers, wear more intricate armor. The officer harness features much more pronounced shoulders and a more elaborate helmet with a backward swept spike in the center. The armor's coloring is blood red with a golden tinge and brass-colored highlights. The Spec Ops and Stealth units are combined into one rank, wearing the Infiltration harness. A sleeker armor with an intimidating helmet which covers the face, and sharp shoulder pauldrons all colored a dark red. Rangers have a white armor which has full mobility and protection in zero or low gravity environments, has a transparent face shield, and external thruster pack for enhanced mobility. Ultras wear a unique white armor with red markings and a crested helmet similar to that of the Elite Counselors. The armor's shield strength is higher than most ranks. Zealots are now equipped with a new ceremonial battle harness, which features a smooth, organic cage harness, large, sloping shoulder pauldrons, and a long, back-swept helmet with mandible guards. The helmet and shoulders feature decorative blue bands. This armor is most commonly worn in the maroon color. Generals wear heavily augmented ornate golden armor with a large horned command helmet, as well as angular chest and shoulder pieces. Golden glowing patterns run along the helmet, chest, shoulders, and legs. The armor provides both good protection and decent mobility. It also has enhanced shielding that is superior to all elite ranks but one, the Field Marshal. The highest rank within the Zealot Order, the Field Marshal, wears a modified combination of the Zealot and General armor. The helmet is nearly identical to the Zealots, with the addition of two horn-like prongs at the front of the head. The core body piece is the same as the Zealot armor. The shoulder pauldrons are identical in shape to the Generals, but colored blue rather than gold. Field Marshals have the strongest shields of any elite in the game and are only encountered once. The outward appearance of the elites is not the only thing that received an update in Reach. Their AI has seen a huge overhaul. These are by far the most dangerous and frightening elites to fight against. They are extremely fast, are more agile than Halo 2 and Halo 3 elites, and have very aggressive firing patterns. They're able to close the gap with the player in seconds with lethal efficiency. The Reach elites carry over all of the gameplay abilities from the previous titles like piloting vehicles, but also use Reach's new armor abilities such as Armor Lock. They also wield the most variety of weapons in any other game and are considerably tougher than other elites, able to withstand more damage than those in Halo 2 and 3. While Reach's elites might have some new abilities, they also brought back some combat evolved traits that were lost in later games. Just like CE, elites have different health and shielding strengths for every different class, instead of multiple ranks having the same shield strength like Halo 2. They once again speak in their native language like they did in Combat Evolved, and attempt to make the Covenant more alien and imposing. So what worked with Reach's elites? What worked with Halo Reach elites is the reintroduction as the military might of the Covenant. They are genuinely terrifying to fight and bring back that elite charisma that has been missing from Halo since Combat Evolved. Their attacks are ferocious, and you definitely need to keep an eye on them during a massive battle. However, their melee attack is extremely broken, with it taking around 6 frames to pull off, meaning on Legendary they can one-hit you before you even know what's happening. They can also sometimes be a little too tough to kill, like them surviving being stuck with a plasma grenade. Overall, Halo Reach elites are not to be underestimated. They're fast and aggressive, have a hell of a melee, and can be quite challenging at times, but sometimes they're unfair for cheap reasons. They're the best elites in the series if you want a challenging fight. With Combat Evolved Anniversary reusing a ton of Reach's assets and in-game models, the elites inherited all the armor variants from Reach with slight stylized differences. The minors have larger and longer shoulder armor spikes. The majors wear the officer combat harness but with an alternate color scheme of matte burgundy, white accents on the arms and legs, the collar, and the helmet. Both Stealth and Spec Ops elites are equipped with Reach's infiltration harness, but with their original CE colors, a bluish-white with red markings and a jet black. The Zealots wear the ceremonial battle harness, but with the traditional gold color instead of Reach's maroon. Another small modification in CE Anniversary is the Elite eye detail. All Elite models, with the exception of Specialist, now have a pupil instead of the solid black eyes of Reach's elites. It's a nice addition for those who don't like the default eyes of Reach. While the Reach models more or less fit with the overall skeleton of CE's elites, there is one slight flaw that doesn't quite line up. The Combat Evolved elites tend to have very animated movements with their necks when they walk, run, or strafe. When seeing these neck movements applied to the Reach models, it comes off looking quite unnatural and kind of bizarre. Overall, I do enjoy the Reach models in Combat Evolved Anniversary. I think they look good, but sometimes I wish the elites received a more unique, faithful appearance to the original game. Maybe we'll get it in the future. Unlike CE Anniversary, which reused Reach models, Halo 2 Anniversary created a new anatomy and armor for the elites, taking inspiration from classic Halo 2. While their armor maintains the same general shape and silhouette of Halo 2 Classic, albeit with a more shiny color scheme, I do have a few problems with this design. Number 1, their faces. In my opinion, classic Halo 2 Elite facial structures are pretty much perfect in design, with mandibles that actually look practical and that could work, especially with their mouths are closed. However, Halo 2 Anniversary elites have extremely wide-set mandibles, making it look physically difficult for them to close their mouths or even speak. And with their eyes now in the center of their face instead of the sides of the head, it makes their face more boxy and squared instead of the long angled look, which also leads into my next problem. 2. Their helmets. With the Elite's facial structure now changed, a new helmet was needed. The new version of the Elite's helmet is much more smooth and rounded, with the front being flat. To quote Late Night Gaming, it looks like a backwards facing hat, instead of the more sharp and angular look of the classic design. And finally, we have their feet. The classic Elite's feet always had a hoof-like look to them, but they still looked anatomically accurate to the rest of the Elite's body. You would look at them and be like, yeah, that looks about right. I wouldn't say the same thing when it comes to the Halo 2 Anniversary Elite's feet. They're extremely small, with heel-like toes and flat, smooth bottoms. This makes them look incredibly silly running around and makes you wonder how they get any traction and don't just slip and slide on smooth surfaces. I laugh every time I look at them. Overall, I'm personally not a fan of the Halo 2 Anniversary Elite design. With them boasting their wide offset mandible structure and wacky helmets and feet, it all looks a bit silly and out of place. But the design that comes next is even worse. With Halo 4 being 343's first crack at a Halo game, the universe as a whole saw an entirely new art style to help differentiate and establish this new version of Halo. The entire Covenant received new designs, and while arguments can be made for the design choices of the new Jackals and Grunts, the Elite redesign went way overboard. The Halo 4 Elites look nothing like the previous Warriors of the past. Their overall appearance is much larger than in previous iterations, with wider shoulders, legs, and humongous feet. Their heads are extremely large with deep-set eyes and feature the most bizarre set of mandibles in the series. The mandibles are larger with molar-like teeth, and the placement is much higher on the face and dangerously close to their eyes. Their skin is pale and peaked, with numerous bumps and scales on their shoulders, arms, and hands. In this new version of the Covenant, the ranks and armor have been changed and rearranged. Replacing the minor rank, the Storm rank consists of the Storm body harness that gives protection on the upper torso and legs, with a large pointed helmet that covers the full span of the face, offering some protection. This set of armor does not come with sleeves or arm guards. The most common color seen with this armor is blue, but it also has green, red, and white variations. The Commander rank, like the Elite Majors before them, act as veteran leaders leading squads of Covenant. They wear a more sophisticated set of the Storm harness with the same chest and lower body armor, but also wear more angular shoulder pads, have wrist guards, a raised claw in their boots, and a smooth bodysuit. Their helmets are much more ornate and similar to the elite officers from Reach. The armor color is dark red, but can be seen on occasion in green. Rangers make a return, but with a brand new armor suit. The suit is now less bulky, with larger gaps between armor pieces. It also has 4 extra thrusters above the wrist and kneecaps. Their helmets are similar to the Storm harness, with their visors being transparent, leaving the face fully visible. This armor comes in blue, white, and gray. Acting as field commanders, the Warrior rank wears golden armor with green highlights, and wears helmets similar in appearance to those worn by the elite generals of Reach. Their shoulder pauldrons use a shield bolstering effect to increase shield strength, and their feet have high-framed raised claws. And finally, the Zealots wear a new, unique set of combat armor, originating from a secluded elite colony. This suit has an organic, lifelike appearance. The helmet, which encompasses most of the face, vaguely resembles those worn by Covenant Special Operation Forces. A cross-shaped pattern of purple lights faces outward from a central point on the helmet. A blade-like talon is located on the inner toe of either boot. The harness also has protective hand armor and raised foil arcs on its back. Like the infiltration harness worn by Spec Ops and Stealth Elites, this armor is equipped with active camouflage. In regards to their AI, the Halo 4 Elites without a doubt have the worst AI in the series. Their behaviors are almost brutish in nature, and they've lost that sense of grace that the older Elites had. They're super clumsy, can be tricked by simply staying out of sight. They won't pursue you and rush your position when you're weak, and will just stand in the open when their shields are down, making for an easy kill. The Halo 4 Elites really don't bring any new gameplay abilities to the table. They can still pretty much do almost everything the other Elites can, they just do it worse. The broken melee from Reach is brought back, making close quarters fights a pain. They also seem to have a much weaker base health after their shields are depleted than previous games, only being able to withstand as much damage as a Grunt or Jackal. So what worked with the Halo 4 Elites? Well, I guess you can say what succeeded was the intent to make them frightening and monstrous. When I see a Halo 4 Elite, I'm definitely scared, but for the wrong reasons. What didn't work was their flat-out grotesque appearance, which totally changed almost every aspect of what made the Elite so menacing and cool. They also looked and acted big and brutish, which is the exact opposite of what an Elite is. Their gameplay is boring and predictable, and a disgrace to the legacy of the Elites of the past. While Halo 5's Elites are pretty much identical to Halo 4's, and everything I said about those Elites can be applied here, there are a couple of changes that were made. The Ranger rank now seems to have more layers to its armor, and its face shield is now a yellow gold instead of transparent. The Arbiter's new faction, the Swords of St. Helios, are equipped with the Storm harness with an orangish-red color and a black undersuit with black sleeves. And the second change pertains to their general AI. The Halo 5 Elites tend to be a lot more active and maneuverable instead of standing still like before. It's not a big improvement, but it makes them a little bit more fun to fight than previously. Overall, the Halo 4 and 5 Elites are the worst Elites in the series. They have a horrible art style, are pushovers in a fight, and don't offer any real changes or improvements from prior games. While the Halo 5 Elites are much more nimble and competent than Halo 4's, it's not enough to make a difference. It's a real shame to see how far the Elites have fallen. And there you have it, a look at every iteration of the Elites in the mainline series. With Halo Infinite bringing back the more classic look and feel of the Elites, I can't wait to see what new features and ranks the Elites gain. Leave me a comment letting me know what your opinions are regarding Elites, and if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, give the video a like, share it around, and I'll see you in the next one.